Young and the Restless Spoilers, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today is a beautiful day here, but honestly, my brain is entirely fried from staring at the screen all night. We need to talk about the absolute madness that just dropped on the Young and the Restless because I am still screaming at my television and trying to process it. Grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in because we have a massive amount of drama to unpack today. So, let's just get right into it because I can barely process what I just watched. You guys know I have been covering this show for a long time and I have seen some wild stuff. But this is just next level messy. Let's be real here. We all knew Billy Abbott was going to mess things up with Sally Spectra. It is what he does. It is literally his entire personality at this point. But the way it happened, the sheer disrespect I am honestly still shaking my head. What were they thinking? Who actually believes this is going to end well for anyone involved? The writers are just determined to put Sally through the absolute ringer again, and I am so tired of it. But at the same time, I can't look away. It's like a train wreck, a massive awful slow-motion train wreck that you just have to stare at. Let's rewind a bit to set the scene. Sally has been out of town on a business trip. We saw her leave a few episodes ago, and she was trying to focus on work. But she had this huge secret weighing on her. She found out she is pregnant. Yes, pregnant again after losing baby Ava with Adam not that long ago. You can only imagine the emotional roller coaster she has been on. She was probably terrified, but also maybe a hopeful. She wanted to come back early. She wanted to surprise Billy. She probably had this whole romantic scenario playing out in her head where she tells him the news and he acts like a supportive partner for once in his life. Okay. Maybe that sounded dramatic, but you get what I mean. She just wanted a happy moment for once. She has been through so much trauma and she just wanted to build a family. But what was Billy doing while she was gone? Oh, just Billy things. He was completely spiraling into his obsession with taking over Chancellor Industries. He dropped that massive bomb on Lily and Kane that the Abbotts technically owned the company because of some ancient bailout from John Abbott. And he was so smug about it, so arrogant. He completely ignored the fact that Lily and Kane were getting ready to fight him to the death in a brutal corporate war. He didn't care. He just cared about winning, about power, and he went straight to the GCAC to celebrate his hostile takeover plans like he had already won the lottery. And who did he run into at the GCAC? Audra Charles. Of course it was Audra. Now, I have to admit I actually like Audra sometimes. She is a hustler, but she literally warned Billy. She sat there with him and told him that his destructive obsession with this corporate war was going to ruin his personal life. She knew Sally was stressed. She knew Sally needed peace. But Billy, he didn't listen. He never listens. He just forced Audra to toast to his bright future. Apparently that toast led to a whole more because one thing led to another and they ended up in a suite together. Just why? Why is he like this? He has this pattern of self-destruction that is just exhausting to watch. So, Sally comes back to Genoa City early. She skips the rest of her business trip. She probably rushed to the airport, got on a terrible flight just to get home to her man. She heads straight to the GCAC because she knows he is probably there. She walks through the lobby. She goes up the elevator and you can just feel the tension building. The fans on social media were already screaming at their screens during this part. We all knew what she was going to walk into. We all knew her heart was about to be ripped out of her chest, but watching it happen, it was brutal. It was just so clunky and awful and heartbreaking. She gets to the suite. The door is slightly ajar. Or maybe she had a key card. I don't even remember because I was so focused on her face. She pushes the door open and there it is. The absolute worst case scenario. She catches Billy and Audra in a highly intimate situation. Clothes thrown around. The whole messy aftermath of a betrayal and it wasn't just a misunderstanding. It wasn't a hug that looked weird from a certain angle. It was undeniable. Billy Abbott, the man she was supposed to build a life with, the man she was about to tell she was carrying his child, in bed with Audra Charles. The sheer audacity of it all is just mind-blowing. Sally just freezes. You can literally see the world collapsing around her in her eyes. Courtney Hope played this scene so well. The absolute devastation, the shock, the bags dropping from her hands. It was a shock punch to the gut. Just boom. Everything she thought she had was a lie. And Billy, he jumps up looking like a deer in the headlights, looking like the absolute clown that he is, scrambling for excuses. Scrambling for a towel or whatever. It was pathetic. It was so incredibly pathetic to watch a grown man act like a teenager caught sneaking out. But wait, it gets worse because this is The Young and the Restless. And they never just give us one layer of drama. They have to pile it on until we are suffocating in it. Audra doesn't just sit there looking guilty. No, Audra decides this is the perfect moment to drop the biggest bombshell of the entire year. Audra looks right at Sally and she admits it. She says she is pregnant. Yes, Audra Charles is pregnant with Billy Abbott's baby. From their night of celebrating the Chancellor victory, let that sink in for a minute. Let's just pause here for a second. Audra's pregnant from one night of celebrating. I know soap opera timelines are basically magic, but wow, that is fast. But honestly, it makes sense for the drama. Audra lost a baby years ago with Noah Newman. She has trauma there too. So her finding out she is pregnant now by Billy, it is a massive mess. And she just blurted out to Sally. Maybe she wanted to hurt Sally. Maybe she was just in shock too and didn't know what to say. I changed my mind about Audra halfway through this scene. First, I thought she was evil for doing it. Then I thought maybe she is just broken too and panicked. I don't know. The whole thing is a mess. It really is. So Audra drops this bomb, I'm pregnant with Billy's baby. And you can see Sally physically recoil because remember, Sally is also pregnant. Sally just found out she is carrying Billy's child too. The double pregnancy trope. The writers actually went there. It is the oldest trick in the soap opera playbook, but my God, does it still work perfectly to create maximum chaos. Sally is standing there looking at the man who betrayed her, looking at the woman who is carrying his child while she is secretly carrying his child too. It is almost too much to bear for one person. And Sally doesn't even tell him. She doesn't say, I'm pregnant too. She keeps it entirely to herself, which honestly, good for her. Billy doesn't deserve to know. He doesn't deserve to have that moment with her. Sally's internal monologue in that moment must have been deafening. The realization that her baby is now going to be tied to this absolute circus. The realization that Billy's obsession with power and winning didn't just ruin his career, it ruined their family before it even started. He threw it all away for a cheap thrill and an ego boost. And then it happens, the moment we were all waiting for. The moment that is going to be GIF and memed on Twitter for the rest of the year. Sally walks right up to Billy. He is trying to stammer out some pathetic apology. Sally, please, let me explain. It meant nothing. The usual garbage that cheaters say. Sally just winds up and she slaps him hard. A massive fiery slap right across the face. It was so loud, it echoed in the suite. And it was so satisfying. I actually cheered. I am not even going to lie. I cheered in my living room because he deserved it so much. Sally doesn't just slap him. She tears into him verbally.